And we are now joined by one of the Trump impeachment attorneys, Michael Veen. Sir, thanks for coming on. I know you've been busy the last couple of weeks. Thanks for making the time here on Newsmax. Just first off, the initial reaction, what happened on Saturday? I know you're probably very happy.
We're ecstatic. We had a great team of lawyers led by Bruce Castor on the way down to Washington, and we worked really hard and had a wonderful win.
Absolutely. What would you say to the 7 Republicans that voted against you? What do you have to say to those 7? What did they not see?
I really don't have anything to say to them. I see on the picture up there, you've got Senator Collins, who I'm a big fan of, and Senator Murkowski. I think they were close on the jurisdiction, and I think they were close on the due process. And I think that, when they went down to it and they looked back at their home state base, I think that their base wanted to vote in a particular way. And I think they were trying to do the best they could to represent their base and their constituents. And I think that's their job. Yeah. They needed 2/3 of a majority to convict him, and they didn't even get close. This thing was a political witch.
Yeah, they were 10 short. I mean, you say that they might have been trying to satisfy their base, but that's not what this is supposed to be about, right? I mean, it's supposed to be like a trial.
Well, this was nothing like any kind of trial this country has ever seen.
Yeah.
It was bereft of due process. It trampled all over the Constitution of the United States, and it was an abomination. It was something I would have expected to see come out of a third world country.
Mm. The president obviously been removed from all social media. Can I just ask what his reaction was? I'm sure you've spoken.
We've spoken. Our communications are protected by the attorney-client privilege, but it's fair to say he was quite pleased.
Quite pleased. Okay, I expect as much. The House managers in this thing tried to add witnesses there in the 11th hour. It was that moment where we were all thinking, is this thing really going to go another week or two? They wanted to subpoena a congresswoman about the conversation with Kevin McCarthy. I was wondering, could you tell us what exactly happened behind closed doors? Because they were pushing for it, and then they came back, and Schumer had his tail between his legs.
Sure. It was a desperate move. We had all week long been told that they didn't want a witness. They were afraid of witnesses, and of course they were, because there were no witnesses that could help their case in any way. The night before, there was a stipulation. Mr. Brennan from our team had worked out the stipulation language, and then 10 minutes beforehand, they pulled the stipulation. 10 minutes before we walked into the Senate chamber to close the case out, they pulled away the stipulation. And, that was fine. We'd had them like a wounded animal in a corner and dying. Their case was dying. And we took they were taking their last swipe trying to breathe life into the case, and they couldn't. Their case died in the corner. But as soon as they tried to go for the witness thing, they realized that there were hundreds of witnesses that we really needed to call to prove that they had no case at all. They knew that. And so, they backed down. Yeah. The whole thing was political theater. There was nothing to their case. But the real story should be in this: why did they doctor the evidence? If their case was so strong, why was it that they manipulated the video, recreated tweets that tried to purport to be something that they weren't? The real outcry from the country should be, why did our House managers fabricate evidence? And who's going to do something about that?
And, sir, we can go back. I actually wanted to...
We're still working on it. We have a lot more that we did.
I wanted to bring up, because you had a moment with on CBS.
We're working on it.
Sure, yeah. I want to play this moment here real quick. This is something that happened over the weekend with CBS. Let's go ahead and play the clip.
What you're talking about now is a check mark that's a verification on Twitter that did not exist on that particular tweet. A 2020 that should have actually read 2021, and the selective editing, you say, of the tapes. Is that how? Is that the doctored evidence of what you're speaking?
That's not enough for you?
That's not enough for you? Wait, no,
sir,
no, no.
I'm trying.
Listen,
I am not a juror in this trial. What I'm trying to be clear for our viewers is what you're referring to, because not everybody has been following.
It's not okay
not everybody,
to doctor
sir,
a little bit of evidence. Respectfully.
I mean, she didn't want to let you get a word in on that. But do you guys think if you guys had doctored evidence in that same fashion, do you think it would have been marginalized by the media in the same way?
First of all, if we had ever doctored evidence, if Donald Trump's lawyers were caught doctoring evidence, what do you think the storyline would be nationally, globally? I can't believe it's not really going that way.
Yeah.
But I want to say one thing. That reporter and I were talking back and forth, and with the time delay, it appeared we were talking over each other a little bit more than we did.
No,
candidly, she actually gave me a good amount of time to say what I wanted to say about the media. She listened to it, and I think she understood what I was saying.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. And I'm glad you said that. I want to say one thing. There's no common ground on this verdict at all. There are a lot of people that feel the way that you and the president feel about this. And then there's a whole bunch of people, including Republicans, that say it's clear as day that the president incited an insurrection. Why is Mitch McConnell wrong? Why are these Republicans wrong? Why are the Democrats wrong? And so many other people.
Well, politicians will say just about anything they need to say in front of your cameras if they think it's going to help them personally. There was no evidence of incitement. When you took the facts of the case and applied it to the law, our Constitution, there was no case at all. And everybody understood that there was no case. This really was political theater. That's all it was. It was about 9 House managers getting in front of the cameras, making speeches, rotating it about every 20 minutes or so, playing up to the cameras and putting the health of this nation before their own personal interests.
Okay, fair enough.
Somebody's got to look into what they did with the evidence and why.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I want to say one thing. You made a statement at the very end during your closing argument that I thought was really impactful. We're going to go ahead and play it now.
As a nation, we must ask ourselves, how did we arrive at this place where rioting and pillaging would become commonplace? I submit to you that it was month after month of political leaders and media personalities bloodthirsty for ratings.
So talking about the riots from last year, you put a lot of blame on riots from last year on the media and Democrats and what they've done. And I think that's a really good point. Excuse me. I want to ask, though, if you look at this thing, if this would have been a conviction for President Trump, what would it have done to the First Amendment and to political speech in this country if the president had been convicted?
It would have continued to have a chilling effect on our politicians. It would have eroded the faith of our citizenry in our government, and it would have continued to degrade the strength of our Constitution. I do want to say something about the riots from the summer. The riots from the summer, just like the attack on the Capitol, are from a small percentage of people on the fringe on both the left and the right. The vast majority of the people who protested this summer did so peacefully and did so justifiably in their own minds and hearts. And this country is built on peaceful protest. It's a righteous thing to do. It's just that the violence is conducted by outlaws. And as President Trump would tell you, they need to be punished under the fullest and maximum extent of the law, no matter what side you're on and no matter what cause you're on. Protest is protest. It's the American way. Violence is the way of a third world country.
That's exactly right. The Democrats have a big problem condemning violence on their side, though. They were quick to condemn The wackos that went into the Capitol, on our side, I think we've condemned it roundly with everybody, and we did so almost immediately. We knew that these people were in the wrong, and that there's a point to be made there. I want to say one more thing.
No, I'm not going to disagree with you on that. I do think that people were very gave comfort to violent riots. Even I think it's a real problem in the country.
Yeah.
But what I don't want to do is blame one side or the other. What we really need to do is we need to have the left and the right come a little bit closer to each other and start addressing the national priorities, shared priorities of our country. We need to move forward in a way of peace and intelligent progress for our people. These people govern are us. They govern our lives. They make an impact on all of us, the citizens. Yep. And they need to become a lot more responsible down in Washington. Washington's broke. I was there 8 days, man. Washington's broke, and somebody needs to go down and fix the thing.
I know. We talk about it every day. It's become a joke. It really has. It's like satire.
Yeah.
The right to an attorney, one of the most sacred guarantees in this country in law. And your wife found in your driveway during this trial somebody had spray painted traitor right there on the drive.
Yeah, we had a lot more than that happen to our home.
Tell us about it, and tell us how you guys are doing with that.
We're doing fine. I've moved my children to a secreted location. Wow. We have hired armed guards to protect our places of living and working.
Yeah.
And we're doing fine. My family understands, and my law firm understands that we fight on the side of right, and we take on causes that aren't always popular with anybody.
Sure.
But that's our obligation to really go out and defend the Constitution, defend what's right, and back down wrong whenever we come up against it.
Okay. Michael Veen, impeachment attorney for the president. Sir, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.